themselves, the blue dots. The red dots probably did not know how Stonehenge was built, or at least the red dots were incapable or uninterested to do once more the same, because never something similar was built. I guess the blue dot builders, a kind of genie, went building elsewhere in the larger project of the expanding Inca-like imperium, which could be the world, but more specifically and probably the Middle East or Western Eurasia, Egypt for instance. Then we come to the Cartwrights in Malta. In Malta, the new groups appear like they appeared in Stonehenge. Again, the builders disappear, just like they disappeared in Stonehenge. The builders built the Cartwrights and used them a long time ago, possibly before 12,000 BP, because at first sight it was before the sea level rose sufficiently to cover these Cartwrights. I was talking about these Cartwrights that are covered by the rising Mediterranean Sea. These are Cartwrights on higher ground. So like they disappeared in Stonehenge, the blue disappeared. The builders in Malta also disappeared in the same period, roughly after 4500 BP. The builders, as well as the newcomers, came from the Americas, probably dominantly from North America. The newcomers were trained for and fed by agriculture, making use of plowing with traction by domesticated animals, and women had more children, from 3 up to possibly more than 10 or 20. Think about the Venus statues of godmother figures. This time also the adults are consuming milk of domesticated and more milk producing animals. Milk becomes part of their staple food, like fermented milk, dairy, cheeses. Before these newcomers, at least the herds and herdsmen came over the Arctic. All are result of mass harvesting. That means the animals of the herds, but the hybridized humans as well. The newcomers, so that came to occupy or use Stonehenge, used the North Atlantic gyre and formed the crew of many boats that traveled in probably large groups that took care to stay firmly together for defense, also because the dates of arrival were marked, and lighthouses would be lighted in a spectacular way, and this on several occasions on, on the European facade for the cases they had suffered some kind of drift or danger and maybe had to take another route. Both the builders and later newcomers have haplogroup R1b amongst them. But the newcomers have this mutation, this extra mutation, M269. I will show you more or less the route, how they come. This is Beringia, this is Alaska, this is Canada, and this is the United States, the Great Lakes. So they come up through the Mackenzie River, follow these islands, follow the coast of Greenland, and hop to this island, to Nova Zembla, to the Ob and the Genesee River, to go down to Altai Mountains, or to go down via the Ural Mountains to the Botai and Sintashta locations. This must be the Caspian Sea. And this is then Kazakhstan. These were the Clovis people that disappear at the Younger Dryas event. And then haplogroup B003, which are the Botai and Yamnaya, Sintashta, Catacomb, etc. All those groups. As shown, they come in mainly from up Yenisei River and go down next to the Ural to Kazakhstan, Caspian Sea, and so on. So this is the Caspian Sea, and this is the Ural, because the Sintashta is south of the Ural. The Ural is here. The Ob and Yenisei River are above, Nova Zembla is above, so they made a crossing, follow the Ural, Sintashta. This is one of the routes, because the other route is more to the east, is to the Altai Mountains and to Indus Valley, Pakistan, India, etc. So at the end they form the catacomb culture, and the catacomb culture will form the Proto-Greeks at some point. So Ural, Sintashta, Yamnaya, and then also contact with corded ware people. But this could be eventually in both directions, because this is an entry as well, using the North Atlantic gyre to reach this sea, or crossing the Arctic Thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. So they already, even in their art, they, for instance, the catacomb culture, seemingly they have more refined art, and they imitate their carts, their wagons with the wheels. This seems to be a cart, I suppose, a luxury cart. This is the Black Sea. So this is the region of the catacomb culture. And then the Botai are more to the east, under the Ob and Yenisei River, Nova Zembla. The entry still colder, rough, steppe and forest. And this is the region where catacomb culture will settle and come out of the Proto-Indo-European population group. Proto-Indo-European, it's in Germany. So the catacomb will come more above the Black Sea, as today Ukraine. So it's quite some articles with further information, but there is not really something that does not will be handled in other videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Next time, probably about haplotype B003 that will appear in Europe, starting amongst others with the Botai culture. They will domesticate horses. This is the Botai culture, haplotype. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you